I took off all the fat from the corned beef, and as you see, it's quite a lot. Now this came out of a package. I got it from Kroger. Wasn't cheap by my standards. It was $1.97 a pound, but it was a flat cut. Because a flat cut has more meat on it and less fat. And as you see, there's a lot of fat here. Now, Ted and I have our own beef, and we have briskets. And Bear Prepper had a wonderful video on how to corn your beef. But the thing is, we like to use our brisket for barbecue in the summer. So I just bought up 5 extra corned beefs, and we're going to can them. So look how nice and meaty this looks compared to the tips. Those sometimes cost a little less, but I bought this at the same exact price as the corned beef tips, so why not get the one with the most meat? Pint containers, that will give me 1 pound of corned beef. I don't need more than 1 pound. I'm even thinking about cutting back and going to a half a pint, but the reason being is Ted and I both have been losing weight, and we're both doing very well. But that's where I've been. I've been trying to relearn a whole lifetime of cooking, and it's sort of difficult. Now in a SHTF situation, we're not going to have to worry about that. In fact, we're going to want fat, and we're going to want more carbohydrates in our food. You know, the simpler ones. But for right now, Ted and I need to get in shape. I want you to look at that. Look how nice that is. Oops. Big, nice chunks. Now, Bear Prepper goes ahead and puts in the pickling spice. But I'm still working, does not. So I think I'm going to join her. Although I just worship the ground Bear Prepper walks in. We all know that. I say it all the time. But I'm not going to put in the pickling spice, because I just don't like that gets in between your teeth and everything else. But smash this down, try to make sure there's no air bubbles in it. It's not all that easy, but you know what, it's not all that hard. And I know, if you've ever pressure cooked a corned beef before, if not, you're in for a treat. It just melts in your mouth. Don't even bother chewing. If you want to do somebody a favor who's got false teeth for when the stuff hits the fan, you just can them up some corned beef now, because this is wonderful. So that's about all I can fit in there. I'm playing with it. I'm looking for room. That's how I do it. I've been doing this a long time, guys. I am not going to poison myself. It's just I got chunks in here. Don't forget, it's going to go down. I probably could put another little piece in there. So this is going to be 1 pound of corned beef. You just keep cutting it like that. You know, Ted and I are going to be moving out of Illinois. I think we're just done. We're done paying a state that does nothing but rob us, takes our money, wants to be the hardest nosed one on gun control. Well, I'm a constitutionalist, so I'm not going to go with that. And it finally dawned on me, why am I paying a jerk like we have in office for governor? Why am I paying him with my tax dollars? So we're going to move out of the state. And I hope other Illinoisans get that idea in their head too. Move out. Let's get them even with them. Take our tax money with us. We don't need to keep putting up with this. The only thing I'm going to have problem moving is all my preps. Holy cow. I mean, we have a lot of preps. I have taken this extremely seriously. So, do you see how you just cut it like big, thick steaks? Real nice. And then just cut it, and then cut it in cubes if you want. Bear Prepper just goes ahead and puts in big pieces like this. And that's fine too. You know, we're going to pressure can this stuff. What I got out of 3 corned beefs was 11 1-pound jars, or pints, jars of corned beef. Then I had some links, pork sausage links that I bought, and each quart holds a 12-ounce container of it. This is these were on sale for $2 a pack. That is a lot, but you know what? Comes a bad time, I'm going to be happy we have these. So I got 4 jars of that and 11 jars of corned beef that we're going to can up today. Doesn't matter what meat you put. If they're all raw, doesn't matter. This is going to be 75 minutes. What we're going to need for this is the pressure canner. This is a Presto, and I can put 2 levels on here. I have these. When you pressure can, you got to have something on the bottom. So I put that in there. Then you have to have water, of course. We're going to put our jars. You have to have a weight. This is very important. You have to have the lid. Very important. You have to make sure that everything is okay here. Look around, make sure you don't have any. See, I do have a little bit of that, oh, what is it? They call it salt. It's a buildup. And that's because I have very, very hard water. So I'm not just going to put water in here, I'm going to put vinegar in there too. That helps so that the jars look nice when they come out. Someone asked me once, how much water actually do you put in there, Deb? So today I measured it. And what I put in there 3, and I'm going to put 3.5 quarts of water. Then I'm going to put some vinegar in. How much? I don't know. Half a cup. Maybe a cup. I'm going to take a little more of my water. I'm going to pour that in there. Now, what I'm going to do is just get this up to bubbling. Not a boil, but just a light simmer. The next thing you want to do is take a wet wash rag and wipe the rim off. Why? You might have some fat on it. So just clean all the rims off. As I'll tell you what, if you get fat in there, what will happen is the seal. It will not seal properly. Just clean them off. Don't have a heart attack on how to do it. If you're working with something that's extremely fatty, then make sure that your hot rag is dipped in vinegar also, because vinegar cuts the fat. So I just make sure these are real well cleaned off. And I'll tell you something. I'm 57. I've been canning a while. I have never had one jar not seal on me. Knock on wood, I'm knocking on my head. Not one jar has ever not sealed. And that's because I take a little bit extra time and clean those, just clean those, rims. Do a good job of that and you'll always see. And there they are, they're raring to go. They're all cleaned off. I'm just waiting for the lids now to simmer so that that rubber on the back of a lid, if it's soft, that's what the heat does, and then it adheres to this a lot better. You'll see. And then we're just going to show you how to do one at a time, and it's very easy. Very easy. Let's take the mystery out of canning. It only has to be as hard as you want it to be. And I don't want it to be hard at all, so it doesn't have to be. You see how that's just simmering? Very, very hot, but it's just simmering. See the bubbles starting? We don't want to boil it though. The idea is to get this rubber part soft so it sticks to the jars. Let's get all that in one movement now. Very simple. You've already cleaned your jars. See, you pull this straight up. Your jars are clean. I know people get a little hysterical doing this. There's nothing to get worried about. Oh, and by the way, you'll notice that there's absolutely no fluid in here. You don't need any fluid in here. If it's raw meat, you do not need fluid. Then I put it in there. And I just continue doing this with every jar. As long as your jars are already cleaned off, these were warm, put on the lid. No, I don't. I do not heat the lid. It's not necessary. Just do it finger tight. You're not out to get anything You don't want to do it too tight, just tight, tight. You got to let that air escape. That's the whole point. That's how the pressure gets out. See how we do that? Not hard. You don't have to overcomplicate anything. There's your jar. A beautiful 1 pound can of beef. And boy, when the SHTF hits, you know, well, when the stuff hits the fan, you're going to enjoy this. It's not cheap. This is not cheap. This corned beef, to me, was not cheap. But it will be good when I need it. Now there you see I have 8 jars in my canner. And I have more jars to can. So I need another. I'm going to put another one of these separators in there. So what I wound up having was 14 1 pound pint jars. And they're in my canner. And then I go ahead, I've checked everything, looks good. Now here's the important part, friends. The water's cold, the jars are cold, the meat are cold, everything's cold. So what I want to do, I don't want to put this up super high, I'm going to bring this up slowly. And I have about a medium fire under there. So once you get everything in here, you want to bring this water up to a boil. You want to do it slowly. You don't want to do it fast. If you do, that's how you get broken jars, seals are blown. Just take your time with this. Canning is an act of love. There's no doubt about it. Now you can hear it boiling, but there is no steam here at all. You can see it starting to steam, but give it a minute. Now you can see it going. It's much heavier. The steam is really going pretty heavy. See that? If I was to put my hand over that, I would absolutely get burnt. And I'm trying to put a dark background. You let that do that for 10 minutes. Set your timer for 10 minutes. The alarm went off, and now I take the weight, I put it on. Make sure you don't put your hand over that, you'll get burnt. Put it on there, and then we're going to wait for that to get to where you need it. On ours, I need it to be 11 pounds. It depends on where you live. You got to look in the bulk canning book for meats. Mine is 11 pounds. So I'm going to let that rise slowly. And it's starting to go up. Getting there. Almost there. Starting at this point, I set the timer for 75 minutes. 75 minutes for pints, 90 minutes for quarts. Now I got to keep that gauge at 11 pounds for 75 minutes. If ever your time goes underneath, if your poundage goes underneath what it's supposed to be, you have to start that time all over again. That's for your health. Never, ever, ever think you do not have to reset that time. You do. But the easiest way I find is to sit in front of it, read a book, and keep my eye on the gauge. And this is cooked for 75 minutes. Ouch, hot. Don't do what I just did. You turn this down. Or turn it off. It's all the way down to 0. You take this off. If it's down all the way to 0 and nothing comes out, see, I can hold my finger over there and I don't get burnt. Then you can take this off. Now the way you're taught to do it is away from your face. That is the corned beef. Ooh, that looks good. Can you smell that, Ted? Just to show you the little sausages. Aren't they cute? These have just been popping. Now you let your can sit for up to 48 hours.